What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. I'd like to wish you guys a happy Monday. And with that being said, I also want to, just say that, on behalf of myself and my channel, hopefully everybody's thoughts and prayers are with those in the Caribbean that are bracing for Hurricane Melissa. Especially those in Jamaica. Man of mercy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been through a Category 5 before. It ain't no joke. And people have already lost their lives. In Haiti, I think they said it was. And everybody's bracing for the impact. So, you could just pray for those that have to go through this ordeal. Now, speaking of ordeal. Today was D-Day or sentencing day for Bionca Ellis. You guys remember Bionca Ellis is a story that we've been covering, on this channel. Bionca Ellis is the woman that wound up killing the little boy right here you see, Julian Wood, and stabbing his mother, Margot Wood, in a giant Eagle parking lot in North Olmsted, Ohio, last year. And she's just been sentenced, and is what everybody thought it was going to be. There's no death sentence, but she was sentenced to the following sentence, which I'm going to show you right here.
When reviewing the sentencing factors as outlined under 29-29-11 and 29-29-12, my job as a judge here is to punish the offender, but also to make sure that the sentence should be proportionate and not demeaning to the seriousness of the offender's conduct and the impact on the victims, and consistent with other sentences with similar crimes. In looking at the seriousness, of course, the child's age and the suffering weigh heavily for this court as well. And so with respect to my sentencing, after taking in consideration all the matters before the court that are appropriate under the principles and purposes of sentencing, the court's going to impose the following sentence. Starting with count 2, as found guilty on count 2 of murder, it's a life with parole eligibility at 15 years. On count 3, the murder charge under the B section, it's life with parole eligibility at 15 years. And those are the maximum sentences that could be handed down on those two counts. On count 4, with respect to the Reagan-Toke sentencing guidelines, count 4 and count 8 are both felonies of the second-degree felonious assault. We also speak to count 5, which was the endangering children as a felony of the second degree. And then we speak to count 7 and 6. The state and I have agreed that I will move forward with count 7. Under count 7, under the Reagan-Toke sentencing guidelines on the attempted murder in count 7, the court's going to hand down the maximum sentence of 11 years as the minimum sentence to the indefinite sentence of 16 and a half years. Again, I've outlined the Reagan-Toke guidelines and the reporting requirements for post-release control that will be controlling on all other felonies of the second and first degree, this being the highest level. I've outlined the 5 provisions, as I noted for the record already. And then with respect to the count 4 and 8, the maximum sentence is 8 years. I'll hand down that sentence. Count 5, 8 years. Count 6, 11 years. Count 8, 8 years. And then, as indicted, count 10, which would be a 6-month sentence on the misdemeanor charge. Regarding aggravated murder and finding the defendant guilty of aggravated murder by this jury, the court's going to hand down a sentence of life without parole. I'll run every other sentence concurrent to life without parole. Ms. Ellis, you'll be given credit to 509 days of the time that you've served. I'll order you in the custody of the sheriff to transport you to Marysville Correctional Facility. I'll also indicate that fines, fees, and court costs will be waived with respect to this sentence. In addition to the verdict that has been handed down by this jury and the sentence that the court handed down, Ms. Ellis, you have a right to appeal both the sentence and the conviction in this case. You can do that by filing a notice of appeal with the clerk of courts within 30 days of this sentence. If you're unable to pay for the cost of an appeal, you have the right to appeal without payment of costs. If you're unable to obtain counsel for an appeal, I'll appoint counsel to represent you. If you're unable to pay the cost of documents necessary, they are provided to you without cost. You have a right to a notice of appeal filed timely on your behalf. And Ms. Ellis or counsel, do you wish to appeal both the sentence and the conviction handed down in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. Note our objection for the record and appoint counsel for the appeal.
I'll note your objection regarding my sentence, and knowing that she's unable to afford counsel, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent her with respect to her appeal. Again, noting for the record, all counts will be run concurrent to each other, with the life without parole being count one sentence. I'll waive all fines, fees, and court costs, give her credit for the 509 days that she served, in addition to time while she awaits her transportation to Marysville Correctional Facility for Women. Is there anything further from the state of Ohio before we recess?
No, Your Honor.
Anything on behalf of Ms. Ellis?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we adjourn. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you've seen it. She was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole on one count. Now, the other counts, two of the other counts carried life with parole eligibility at 12 years. When I first heard that, I'm like, yo, she got a chance of getting out. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking at it, and then when they dropped that other charge later on, it was like, yo, you ain't never getting out. You can appeal it or whatever. I already knew. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I have no problem with the judgment. Just like they said, she willingly sought after somebody to stab. And that was the first child that she came across while she was walking around with that knife that nobody noticed. And she methodically turned around, stalked them somewhat, and killed them when she was putting the groceries in the car. Man, the husband could have lost his wife, and he could have lost his child. And it seems like the motive for this was she didn't want to be, she wanted to be incarcerated. Well, she got her wish. They're sending her to some place in Ohio, a woman's prison, for the rest of her life. And now she don't have to worry about the normal ebbs and flows of society with the condition that she had. It's a damn shame that for her to get her wish, a child had to die, which is unacceptable. Like the judge said, he said, yeah, mental illness does play a part, but you can't be solely the reason for you, being held responsible. Because at some point, it all falls on you. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? She'll never see the light of day. Something that she didn't care about. That she don't care about her freedom. She don't. She'd rather be put up where she can have 3 square meals a day, don't have to deal with, other problems that stress people out like we all go through. It's just unfortunate, in my opinion, that a little boy had to die for this to come to this, ending. Either way, man, you know what I'm saying? She on the shelf for the rest of her life. This story be replaced with another one. She had mental illness, and it's upsetting that, stories like this keep happening and people that are in position to do something about it don't. That's the part that's sad. There'll be another Julian Wood. There'll be another Margot Wood somewhere. Somebody getting hurt because of somebody mentally ill that either refuses to take their medication, don't have access to getting medication, or, you know what I'm saying? Either way, man, the whole thing's messed up. That's the story. She going away forever. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel.